Please subscribe to my channel and like my video. Thank you for your support. A solitary vacation. Jessica decided to take a solo beach vacation to unwind from the year's stress. The small town on the southeastern coast of America promised peace and tranquility. She chose a hotel right by the beach so she could wake up to the sound of the waves in the morning. On her first day, she walked along the beach, enjoying the sun, the sea, and the sand. However, by evening, the silence of the town began to unsettle her. Jessica lay in bed in her hotel room, trying to sleep. Apart from the sounds of the waves and the wind's howl, there was no other noise. However, at midnight, she heard a strange sound outside the hotel. She got up and moved towards the window, but saw nothing in the darkness. She felt a chill inside her, but thought it was just the loneliness and darkness playing tricks on her. The next morning, Jessica went for a walk on the beach and noticed footprints that seemed to have been made overnight. The footprints led to the sea, but did not return. This disturbed her, but she tried to enjoy her vacation nonetheless. She visited a few tourist spots in the town and returned to the beach in the evening. While sunbathing on the beach, Jessica noticed a woman approaching from a distance. The woman was wearing a white dress and seemed to be walking directly towards Jessica. As the woman got closer, her face became more distinct, and Jessica noticed a strange expression on her face. The woman stopped a few meters in front of Jessica, stared at her, and then turned and walked away without saying a word. At night, Jessica began to see the woman in the white dress in her dreams. The woman tried to say something to Jessica, but the words were unintelligible. As the dream repeated every night, Jessica's peace was disturbed. The expression on the woman's face became more terrifying each time. While having breakfast at a small cafe in town, Jessica started chatting with a local man. The man told Jessica that the beach was known for an old legend. Years ago, a young woman had disappeared there, and it was said that her spirit still roamed the beach. Jessica didn't want to believe what she heard, but could this story explain her dreams? While walking on the beach at sunset, Jessica saw the woman in the white dress again. This time, she decided to quietly follow her. The woman walked towards the most deserted part of the beach. When Jessica lost sight of her, she found herself in front of an old abandoned cabin. The cabin looked as if it hadn't been used in years. When Jessica opened the cabin door, she found a table inside covered with old newspaper clippings and photographs. One of the photographs showed the woman in the white dress in her youth. Her name was Emily, and the date she disappeared was 20 years ago. Jessica thought this cabin might be where Emily had disappeared. As Jessica left the cabin, she saw Emily's ghost outside. Emily was whispering something to her, but the sounds were still unclear. Jessica ran away from the cabin in fear and returned to her hotel. However, she felt that Emily's spirit was still following her. In her dreams, Jessica saw Emily getting closer to her. The words Emily whispered became clearer each night. "Find me," Emily said. Jessica realized she couldn't rest until she solved this, and decided to find out what happened the night Emily disappeared. Jessica started researching the town's old records. She learned that on the night Emily disappeared, there had been a big storm in the town, and Emily was last seen on the beach. However, her body was never found. Jessica decided to search the beach for clues. Jessica returned to the beach at midnight. In the light of her flashlight, she saw Emily's ghost again. This time, Emily was looking at her more closely. "Find me," Emily whispered again. Jessica started digging at the spot where Emily had disappeared. As Jessica dug through the sand, she found an old chest. When she opened the chest, she found Emily's personal belongings and a diary. The diary revealed that before she disappeared, Emily had been threatened by a wealthy man in the town. Jessica thought this man might be responsible for Emily's disappearance. Jessica traced the man mentioned in the diary and reached one of the town's elders. The elderly man knew the truth behind Emily's disappearance. Jessica relayed this information to the police, and finally, the mystery behind Emily's disappearance was revealed. Emily's spirit was at peace at last. Jessica felt that Emily's spirit had found peace and decided to leave the beach. The town's peaceful atmosphere had returned. Jessica realized that her perspective on life had changed after this experience and that she felt stronger. She was now ready to start anew. As Jessica bid farewell to the town, she made one last visit to Emily's cabin. There, she felt that Emily's spirit was truly at peace. However, something in the cabin had changed. Emily's belongings looked as if someone had organized them. Jessica understood that Emily's spirit had fully found peace, and the weight in her heart lightened. When Jessica returned home from her vacation, she continued to see Emily in her dreams. However, these dreams were no longer frightening. Emily smiled as if to thank her. Jessica saw this as a sign and decided to share Emily's story with a wider audience. As Jessica researched Emily's story, she discovered more information about the town's past. Learning the dark secrets behind Emily's disappearance deeply affected Jessica. Some of the town's residents believed that Emily's spirit had found peace and that this had lifted the curse over the town. A year later, Jessica returned to the same beach. This time, she brought a team to research and document Emily's story. On the beach, they erected a monument to mark the place where Emily's spirit had found peace. This monument would ensure that Emily's story was never forgotten. Standing in front of Emily's monument on the beach, Jessica couldn't hold back her tears. This experience had reminded her of how fragile and precious life was. Emily's story was not just a ghost story. It was a symbol of justice and peace. As she bid farewell to the beach, the wind's whisper seemed to say something to her. "Thank you," Jessica thought. Emily's spirit was free now, and Jessica was ready for a new beginning. Standing in front of Emily's monument on the beach, Jessica couldn't hold back her tears. This experience had reminded her of how fragile and precious life was. Emily's story was not just a ghost story. It was a symbol of justice and peace. As she bid farewell to the beach, the wind's whisper seemed to say something to her. "I will never forget you," she whispered. Jessica left the beach, the weight in her heart lightened. Now, she was ready to embark on a new journey, to share Emily's story and inspire others. This experience had taught her the importance of illuminating the dark sides of life and confronting the shadows of the past. As Jessica turned a new page in her life, she set off knowing that Emily's spirit was at peace and with the comfort of knowing that she too was ready for a new beginning. Stories 2. Amanda planned a solo vacation on the California coast to escape the stress of her daily life. She would stay in a beautiful hotel and spend her days relaxing on the beach. On the first day, as she watched the sunset, she found herself in a peaceful silence. However, later that night, she heard a strange noise in her hotel room. The sound was as if someone was slowly walking outside her door. Amanda got up to investigate the source of the footsteps outside her door. When she looked into the corridor, she saw no one. A chill ran down her spine, but she attributed it to fatigue and her imagination. She couldn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next day, Amanda tried to enjoy the solitude while sunbathing on the beach. However, she felt someone watching her from a distance. When she turned around occasionally, she saw no one, but the feeling disturbed her. At sunset, as she returned to her hotel, she noticed someone following her. When she turned around, she saw no one again. Her heart raced, and she quickened her pace back to the hotel. That night, while Amanda was sitting in her room, thinking about what had happened, she heard those strange footsteps again. This time, they came closer to her door. She saw shadows under the door and backed away in fear. In the morning, she found a note slipped under her door. It read, "You'll find me." Amanda was terrified, wondering who had left such a message. While walking on the beach during the day, Amanda noticed a man staring at her from afar. His face reminded her of someone she had never seen before. His gaze scared her, and she quickly walked away. To ease her fears, Amanda requested a room change from the hotel management. She moved to a room on a higher floor with a view of the beach. This change temporarily comforted her. At midnight, Amanda's phone rang. A whispering voice on the other end said, "I am watching you," and immediately hung up. When Amanda tried to call back, the number was unreachable. Amanda reported the incidents to the police, but they didn't take her seriously. They thought she was overreacting and overly stressed. Amanda desperately hoped for help. One day, while walking on the beach, Amanda noticed a pair of footprints in the sand. These footprints led her to a cave. Amanda was too scared to enter, but she knew she had to investigate the cave somehow. That night, Amanda returned to the cave with a flashlight. Deep inside the cave, she found strange symbols and old objects. These items seemed to be from many years ago. In the cave, Amanda found a diary that described a woman who had disappeared on the beach and was never seen again. This diary could be a clue to understanding why she was being watched. As Amanda read the diary, she became increasingly convinced that she might share the same fate. She had experienced some of the events described in the diary. A deep fear took hold of her. Feeling unsafe in her hotel room, Amanda planned to escape at midnight. She packed her belongings and quietly left the hotel. However, she knew someone was watching her. As Amanda ran along the beach, she heard footsteps behind her. The footsteps quickened, but Amanda did not stop running. She was out of breath, but did not pause for a moment. Amanda sought refuge in the cave once again. Inside, she saw a light coming from the depths of the cave. As she approached the light, she realized someone was there. Inside the cave, she came face to face with the man who had been following her. His face matched the descriptions in the missing woman's diary. Amanda realized he was a spiritual entity and began to tremble with fear. The man told Amanda that the spirit of the woman who disappeared years ago had not found peace and was now after her. Amanda had become the target of this restless spirit, and there was no way to escape. Gathering all her courage, Amanda tried to escape from the cave. Her heart was pounding with fear, and her steps were shaky. The dark, damp air of the cave made it hard to breathe. However, the cold breath of the spirit behind her forced her to move faster. As she moved towards the exit of the cave, she tripped over a rock and fell. Crawling on the ground, she heard footsteps behind her. When she lifted her head, she saw the spirit slowly approaching her. Its eyes were empty and hollow, but Amanda could feel the deep pain and anger within. With one last effort, Amanda picked herself up off the ground and continued running towards the cave exit. When she exited the cave, she reached the beach in the dark of night. The cool sea air from the waves hit her face, but it didn't comfort her. The spirit stood at the mouth of the cave, staring at Amanda. Its dark silhouette looked like a terrifying shadow in the moonlight. When Amanda realized the spirit wasn't following her, she felt a brief sense of relief, but it was short-lived. As Amanda ran along the beach, she pulled out her phone and called emergency services for help. She described her experiences in a trembling voice, but the operator didn't take her seriously. Realizing she was alone in this, she panicked even more. While running, Amanda saw a light in the distance. It could be a campfire. She ran towards the light and reached a campsite where an old man was sitting by the fire. Amanda ran towards him, hoping for help, and quickly explained what had happened. The old man listened to Amanda's story and sighed deeply. "I know that spirit," he said. "I heard the story of the woman who disappeared years ago. Her restless spirit still roams here. This place is cursed." The man told Amanda that the only way to bring peace to the spirit was to find the woman's bones and give them a proper burial. Amanda thought it was impossible, but she realized she had no other choice. At dawn, Amanda and the old man returned to the cave. Despite feeling the spirit's presence again, they gathered their courage and began searching for the woman's bones deep in the cave. In the deepest corner of the cave, they found the woman's bones. Amanda found an old necklace among the bones. This necklace represented the memory and spirit of the missing woman. Amanda and the old man carefully collected the bones and set out to bury them in a proper place on the beach. Amanda believed this act would bring peace to the spirit. They dug a grave on the beach and placed the bones inside. Amanda said a prayer for the woman's spirit. The old man joined her. When they covered the grave, they felt the spirit had found peace. Amanda felt somewhat relieved after this horrifying experience. Amanda and the old man sat on the beach and watched the sunrise. She felt a sense of peace. She knew the spirit would no longer follow her. This experience taught her to be more careful and stronger in life. Amanda returned to her hotel and packed her belongings. She was determined to leave the past behind. She thanked and bid farewell to the old man and set off for home. When Amanda returned home, she reevaluated her life. This vacation taught her how valuable life was and the importance of facing her fears. Amanda decided to write about this terrifying vacation. It was a form of therapy for her and could be a lesson for others. As days passed, Amanda slowly erased the traces of the horrifying events. She made a fresh start in life and felt stronger. The events Amanda experienced would always affect her, but this experience had strengthened her character. The terrifying vacation on the beach left deep marks on her life. Knowing that the spirit had found peace gave Amanda an inner peace. She lived the rest of her life as a more careful and strong person, always remembering this horrifying vacation. Stories 3. Emily decided to take a vacation in a quiet beach town on the east coast of America to escape the stress of work. The town was known for its wide beaches and peaceful sea views. She booked a room in an old hotel by the sea and set off for her journey. When Emily arrived at the hotel in the late afternoon, she noticed that it was old and a bit run down. The elderly woman at the reception greeted her with a smile and handed her the room key. Emily took her suitcase and went up to her room. The room was simple but comfortable, and the view of the sea from the window was magnificent. On her first night, Emily took a walk along the beach. There were a few other people around, but it was mostly deserted. She found peace in listening to the sound of the sea under the moonlight. When she returned, she saw a man in the hotel lobby. The man stared at her for a long time, but said nothing. Emily felt a bit uneasy and quickly went up to her room. In the morning, Emily went down to the lobby for breakfast and saw the same man again. He was sitting at a table on the other side of the hotel, and his eyes never left her. Emily quickly finished her breakfast and went outside to the beach. However, she couldn't shake off the feeling of the man's gaze. While walking on the beach, Emily met a woman who warned her that the area wasn't very safe for tourists, especially at night. Emily thanked the woman and continued her walk, but a sense of unease began to grow inside her. That night, while reading in her room, the electricity suddenly went out. Left in darkness, Emily used her phone's light to illuminate her surroundings. She heard strange noises from outside, making her hair stand on end. The sounds seemed to be coming from somewhere inside the hotel. In the morning, Emily asked the woman at the reception about the power outage. The woman explained that the hotel was old and such things happened often. When Emily mentioned the noises she heard, the woman fell silent and changed the subject. This only piqued Emily's curiosity further. Emily found an old book in the hotel lobby. The book contained information about the town and the hotel's history. As she read, she learned that the hotel had been the site of a murder many years ago. The murderer was never found, and there were rumors that the hotel was haunted. While walking through the hotel's corridors, Emily decided to investigate the source of the noises she heard. Suddenly, the same man from before emerged from a dark corner and approached her. He warned her that the hotel was dangerous and that she should leave immediately. Emily, unsure of what to do, backed away. Emily decided to leave the hotel. But when she went to the bus stop in the town, she learned that buses only came once a week. The next bus was 2 days away. Reluctantly, she had to return to the hotel, but her fear had only increased. That night, Emily couldn't sleep again. As she turned in bed, she suddenly heard footsteps outside her door. Slowly, she got up and approached the door. Light was seeping through the bottom, and someone was standing outside. Emily held her breath and waited. Suddenly, the person outside started pounding on the door. Emily froze in terror. The pounding eventually stopped, and the footsteps receded. Emily stayed awake, petrified, until morning. In the morning, Emily told the receptionist about what happened. The woman listened anxiously and revealed that the hotel had been closed for many years and had only recently reopened. She admitted that the staff also sometimes heard strange things. Emily began planning to leave the hotel again. This time, she decided to call a taxi to take her to the town. However, taxis only operated at certain hours, and the suitable time hadn't arrived yet. In the afternoon, Emily encountered a group of teenagers on the beach. They told her more about the hotel's past. They said the ghost of the woman who was murdered in the hotel still roamed the halls seeking revenge. Emily grew even more frightened upon hearing this information. At midnight, Emily decided to flee the hotel. She packed her belongings and quietly left her room. But as she walked through the corridor, the electricity went out again, leaving her in darkness. Emily turned on her phone's light and hurriedly moved forward. As she descended the stairs, she suddenly came face to face with the same dark figure. It was the man who stood outside her door at night. The man grabbed Emily, trying to prevent her escape. Panicking, Emily struggled and managed to break free from his grasp. Emily reached the hotel's front door and burst outside. She ran along the dark beach, not stopping until she reached the town. When she arrived in the town square, she finally felt safe and collapsed to the ground. The next day, Emily went to the town's police station and reported what had happened. The police said they had received similar complaints about the hotel before but had found nothing. Based on Emily's statement, they would investigate the hotel again. Emily left the town and returned home. What she experienced had taught her a lesson she would never forget. She realized that a peaceful vacation could turn into a horrifying nightmare. The fate of the hotel remained uncertain. Thank you for listening.